The last thing the world needs is another foul compilation. The sheer volume of that marquee. Smith and whoever he's barking orders it has produced over the past 4 decades has resulted in so many anthologies and quickie collections that you could build a house out of the jewel cases. But Cherry Red's new 7-disc fall box set instantly crushes them all like Godzilla on Bambi. It's a survey of every single and Bside the Mancunian institution has released since 1978, providing a tidy, linear history of a notoriously unstable band. As with everything about the fall, however, even this simple strategy is actually a lot more complicated than it appears. Back in 2006, The Guardian's Dave Simpson attempted to track down every former member of the Fall, a list that could fill a small town's phone book. And there could likely be another compelling in-depth article written about the effort required to put this box set together. The Fall have released over 50 singles to date, and through almost as many labels, some of which are long defunct. Singles 19,782,016 is the product of a nearly 4-year, Indiana Jones-worthy quest, but with the religious artifacts replaced by an even more elusive, holier grail proper publishing rights paperwork. So the fact that this box set exists at all is a minor miracle. What's even more remarkable is the fact that, while listening to these 7 discs attentively in one sitting would require you to book a day off from your job, it rarely feels like work. Even after their fleeting late 80s moment as a top 40 threat had passed, and the quality of their albums became more of a crapshoot, the Fall remained an intriguingly unpredictable singles band, one whose cantankerous, chaotic reputation belies their economical craft and stylistic malleability. Singles 19,782,016 emulates the segregated format of Beggars Banquet's popular 1990 compilations 458,489 A-sides and 458,489 B-sides. The box set's first 3 discs, which are also available as a separate package, chronologically chart the journey from debut single, Bingo Master's breakout, to last year's, Wise Ol' Man, with each disc loosely representing a distinct phase in their evolution: the minimalist garage punk origins, the semi-pop era, and the post-millennial free-for-all. The other 4 discs plot a parallel, circuitous course through the B-sides. It's a testament to Smith's uncommon industriousness that the tracklist here is dramatically different than the Fall's other career-spanning, multi-disc box set of note, The Complete Peel Sessions 19,782,004. Separating the A-sides from B-sides makes a certain amount of sense, providing both an easy entry point into the band's labyrinthine catalog and a scenic path for more committed listeners to go down. At the same time, with a band like The Fall, the distinction between A-sides and B-sides was often largely arbitrary. A B-side banger like 1981's Fantastic Life could be just as rousing as any lead single from the same era, and a side rumbler like 1986's Living Too Late could be just as cold and imposing as any oddity tucked on the flip side. From the get-go, The Fall were clearly unlike any other punk band. Sure, the surface sneer of gut-punching early singles like It's the New Thing may have aligned Mark E. Smith with other Johnny Rotten come latterlies, but his overstuffed lyric sheets were loaded with contrarian critiques of a punk culture that had become just as conformist and close-minded as the establishment it railed against. The Fall are often classified as post-punk, a movement synonymous with anti-rock experimentation and futurist principles, but in their early years, they were more interested in putting a postmodernist spin on pre-punk's cultivated mutant strains of country, fiery jack, 1950s rockabilly, I Dream of a Casino soul, which is like tequila, being subjected to electroshock therapy, and 1960s garage psycho mafia, a showcase for our original keyboardist Una Bain's eerily emotionless, ice-picked organ lines. And even as Smith's lyrics turned increasingly cryptic, he still trafficked in relatable subjects: football, World War II, overcaffeination, that made him more at home with the factory workers at the local pub than the art school students at the discotheque. But then, Smith had a peculiar gift for rendering everyday English urbanity as dystopian sci-fi. The clanging "I'm into CB," for example, begins as a cheeky fetishization of trucker culture, before revealing its narrator as a sad sack, jobless shut-in who uses his radio for devious prankster purposes, an uncanny prophecy of 21st century trolling. The arrival of guitarist and Smith's future wife Brix in 1983 didn't so much change the Falls as embolden it. The haunted house organ-s of old were updated to bright synths, the drum machine tinkering was beefed up into danceable beats, and Smith's verbal spew was unleashed in more controlled, graceful arcs. And with Brix dropping shout-em-out pop hooks like cherries on a mud sundae, the band enjoyed a steady 6-record run on Beggars Banquet that yielded their most immediate, enduring At the time, they were producing work of such high quality, and at such a high volume, that they could afford to relegate bop-along earworms like CREP and Oh Brother to non-album singles, while punting definitive tracks like No Bulbs to stopgap eps. Up to this point, the Fall's B-sides form an alternate canon every bit as wonderful and frightening as their headlining tracks, yielding a wealth of alternate universe indie rock touchstones, second dark age, hypnotic trance, repetition, and eerily prescient premonitions from the ominous Autotech pilot. I really think this computer thing is getting out of hand. Starting in the 90s, the bloated demands of the CD single took hold, with remixes, live takes, alternate versions, and even Christmas-s starting to appear. They were emblematic of an era when the Fall seemed to be settling comfortably into middle age. Even after Brix departed, she later rejoined and the band's revolving door began to swing more vigorously. It was a decade spent embracing trends. See the Manchester Groove Telephone Thing, flirting with elegantly sung, string-sweetened middle-brow indie, popcorn double feature, mashing up reggae standards, Why Are People Grudgeful, quoting Paul Simon, 15 Ways, and twisting to golden oldies, F old and Money. The lager-sloshing 1999 single, Touch Sensitive, could even pass for a Fatboy Slim jam, a fact reinforced by its festive Already remix. But after this period of lined aesthetic stability, the Fall barreled into the new millennium, oscillating violently between accessibility and inscrutability, as if the Y2K bug had bypassed our computers and lodged itself firmly in Marky Smith's brain. On the one hand, the Fall's later years have seen Smith re-embrace his raw, garage punk roots, albeit with a more muscular menace. The 2004 single, Theme from Sparta FC. 2 inches adheres to his tradition of soccer stadium-worthy chants, but comes as vicious as a pack of marauding hooligans. Reformation Uncut takes aim at the ex-bandmates who abandoned him mid-tour in 2006, wielding its sinister twang-out bass riff like a pulse rifle. On the other hand, as his lineup has steadied over the past decade, Smith has been all too eager to disembowel his bands. By 2013's The Remainderer and Amorator, the Fall had effectively become an improvisational ensemble, their serving as rusted spittoons for Smith's increasingly slurred, phlegm-soaked invectives. Strange as it is to say about a 7-disc Ithor box set, singles 19,780,2016 is not exactly a comprehensive overview of the Fall's discography. By its very nature, it must exclude the band's greatest front chewback album, 1982's Hex Induction Hour, which yielded several certified classics, Hip Priest, the classical, but no official singles. Likewise, it can't include essential album cuts from early Rave Up, Industrial Estate to 2005 Bruiser, What About Us, that never made it onto 7-inch. But this is still a staggering monument all the same, an elaborately detailed portrait of a shambolic artist whose astonishing productivity, creative restlessness, and utter disdain for the niceties of civil society know no bounds. This is Marky Smith's lawn, and we're all invited to get the fuck off of it.